Suburban Dallas divided after a pool party turned chaotic and a police officer is caught on camera slamming a teenage girl to the ground. Take a look.
On your face!
That officer now on leave, but there are questions about how the police responded and if the teenagers contributed to the tension. Joining us right now is Randy Sutton. Randy is a 30-year law enforcement veteran and spokesperson for the American Council on Public Safety. He joins us from Las Vegas. And Neil Franklin, a former police officer and executive director for Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. He joins us today from Washington. Good morning to you as well. Neil, does this look like a racial incident or simply a pool party out of control?
If you just look at what is on the video, yes, it does have that connotation to it, because this officer is paying attention only to the black children on the scene there. But that's not the entire story, so it just doesn't look good.
Well, one of the things you told one of our producers, Neil, is the fact that one of the things missing these days is respect. A lot of young people don't have respect for cops. They don't have respect for teachers. They don't, adults these days don't have respect for anybody.
Yeah, there seems to be a disregard for authority, not just for our police officers, but adults large and wide, teachers, adults within the community leaders, and so on. And I think it's a trend, but if our parents would probably say the same thing about us as well. And also children are imitators. When they see us disrespecting each other, they think it's okay. They're just going to do what they see us doing.
Sure, absolutely. Randy, let me ask you about when you look at that video, what do you see?
Well, what I see is an out-of-control situation with a whole bunch of people acting very disrespectfully in a way that one officer is just, it's impossible to control that many people. Now, he's jumping right in. He's attempting to take control. It's my understanding that he actually had a number of people in a controllable situation, and then he was trying to sit that girl down, and she just wasn't going for it. She just wasn't going for it, and he had to use, and he used minimal force on her, minimal force.
Sure.
But
well, go ahead, Neil.
I want to comment on something that Neil said, and I agree with him completely. I think what we're seeing as a society is what I call the surrender of civility. We're seeing it across the board, and we see it exploited by television and by movies. And, the worse you act, you get a reality television show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but if you notice the first officer who appeared in the video as he was talking to the group of children, everything was calm. He was calming things down, at least with that group right there. But then this other officer comes on the scene, and he's running around. And yes, we don't see the entire picture, but there's a way that you can talk to young people to get them to comply. When you come on the scene, you're supposed to bring calm. You're not supposed to bring excitement or take excitement to the next level.
All right. Randy, before you go, tell the story for us about how, when you were an officer, you went to a loud music call. Bunch of kids there. What happened?
Well, I mean, I really empathize with this officer and the officers in this situation. Every police officer has been through something similar. A very dramatic situation in my case was a simple loud music call. It was a teenage party in an apartment, and when my partner and I knocked on the door, the music was blaring, the kids were screaming and such. And as we walked in, I focused on one guy. Even though there was a lot of people, there was one guy sitting on a overstuffed chair, and I saw his hand move, and I just drew my weapon and pointed it at him. Everybody thought I was crazy. My partner put him on the ground, reached under, and there was a pistol. It turned out that he had just used it to kill 3 people. So
you just never know. You got to be careful.
And every situation is different. It's fluid, and you have to go at it with the knowledge that there is danger there.
All right, Randy and Neil, we thank you both for joining us today from Las Vegas and our nation's capital to talk about this important item. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.